there, as well as YouTube. And we welcome our friends listening on KTNF. Well, that's it later on. But we also broadcast on KTNF AM 950 in the evenings, as well as KKNW 1150 in Seattle. So thank you, everybody, no matter where you're tuning in. Plus, if you missed the show or there's something you want to go back and listen to, all of our shows are available as podcasts. You can go to heartlandsignal.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. And all of these conversations would not be possible without the incredible sponsors we have, including Minocqua Brewing Company, Source Solar, Are You Really Winning, and our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com for some of the best single origin roasted to order beans you will ever have. We have just this segment. We can open up the phone lines because we only have the first segment really open. Although, unless you have questions for our guests coming up, we have Bill Zelenka, who is the incredible gardener that runs Olive's Neighborhood Garden, which is an award-winning nonprofit garden in Jefferson Park, and they provide fresh produce delivered weekly to local food banks. And I want to talk about planting some of your own food, as well as if you know anybody that needs some food pantry assistance, that you can really take advantage of the fact that there's fresh produce at a lot of places in the Chicagoland area, and maybe give you some direction on wherever you are in the country. And then coming up a little bit later, we're going to talk to Dylan Conmy, who's the executive director of HumanKInd Initiative and Ottawa Family Pride in Ottawa. We have a comedy event coming up in June, and they have a gala coming up. They have a fundraiser on April 25th. Their June Pride Fest and Comedy Night is going to be in June, and we will be a part of that along with Ken Mejia Beal and Gwen Levy. I should probably tell Ken Mejia Beal that he is confirmed. If Ken Mejia Beal is listening, you can text me and I'll get you the details. So we'll road trip to Ottawa. Who wants to come with, everybody? I have my laptop open to my H&R Block. Taxes are I'm probably going to come in under the wire tonight. I think I have everything I need. And if you use any of these tax software applications, you know that it says, hey, double check this, verify that. And I think it was like no less than 14 data verifications that I needed to go back through. I get quite a few 1099s, W-2s. I have like 2 W-2s and about 6 1099s. And they want me to make sure if you are in the event that you are struggling and freaking out, panicking at all about your taxes, first of all, you can give me a call. We can commiserate. Secondly, I do want to let you know, this is something I didn't learn until recently, that you can go to irs.gov and request your transcripts, meaning you can, you have to do like a verify. You have to put your ID in there and everything. And I think including like a photo ID. I did this last year for the first time, not for this particular process, but for something else I needed from the IRS. And I learned this. You can get your transcripts, and that shows you all of the documents that were submitted in your name for earnings or other documents that are pertinent to your specific tax filing. So I was able to double check that the W-2s I had everything. And the reason I mention that is because there have been years where I get so many 1099s that I lose track of one, or it wasn't sent, or I just didn't find it, I didn't get it, whatever, just so many documents that come in. They have all of that. So you can double check, if I have 6 1099s in my hand, do they have 6 1099s in my name at irs.gov. So you can download that. They gave me a little peace of mind as far as double checking, verifying that I had properly added altogether my income for 2025. I think it's so surreal that I have a business. I run my own. I'm self-employed on the side. I'm an independent contractor as a comic, as a writer, as a producer. So it's a little complicated for me. I just think it's interesting that if I didn't have all of that and like business deductions and expenses and things like that, that they basically ask you all the it all feels like a trick. It all feels like, are you sure that's the right information? And then at the end, I think it says something like, to the best of my knowledge, this is all accurate, with, the penalty of going to jail. I was like, I hope this isn't the year that I did this all wrong. It's just very stressful. So I don't know if anybody out there is like me. It's not that I wait till the last minute. I start this process earlier, and I kind of do it little by little until there's no time left, I guess is the best way to put it. I was telling Steve that one of my symptoms of anxiety is glue. Like, I know that's what I call one of my symptoms glue, where I just get stuck. Whether that's emotionally, physically, I can't keep moving. I don't know what I'm working my way through what is trauma related, what is just not being able to identify what's put me in a stressful situation, what makes me, procrastinate, all those things. I don't like doing it. And I know there are some people, I want to say it was Orion Samuelson, who we lost earlier this year. I believe he was one of those people that loved spending New Year's Eve getting all of his tax documents together. There are people who do that. Like they spend New Year's Eve, I don't even know how you would do that because I don't even get my documents until the first few weeks of January, sometimes all the way into February. There's like a deadline for it. So at any rate, 773-763-9278. That's the number to call and join our conversation right now because we do have guests coming up. And then we have the Up North podcast at 6 o'clock. So if you want to join us, give us a call or text us now. Ready, set, go. 773-763-9278. Here's Jim. Our first call with Jim. We still need to come up with a theme song for our first call. Jim, I got you and Steve got to sit at a bar and tip one back.
What's all right? Yeah. Anyway, you're busy enough without thinking of theme songs. I was just thinking of young Trump's minister was Norman Vincent Peale was his minister, his father's minister, and he wrote the book The Power of Positive Thinking. And Peale, when Jack Kennedy ran, he was diametrically opposed to Kennedy because he was a Catholic, And Kennedy had to go to the bishop of the Protestant bishops down south and swear on a stack of Bibles that he wasn't a papist, that the Pope wasn't going to run the shebang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly. I mean, that was always. Yeah. You know what's funny about that? My concern when Mitt Romney was running, because I had been raised in the Mormon Church, I was concerned about the power of the president of the Church of Mormon, the Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, well, but I think that hurt Romney as being a Mormon, but that's beside the point. But remember what Romney said in that when he was in that fundraiser, and the bartender took the tape and brought it to Mother Jones.
Yep.
He said, because this is a Republican mantra: we're the makers, and the Democrats are the takers.
Yep.
Now that's what they believed that forever, Patty.
And here we are. And here we are in the middle of a war. It's going to cost $1 trillion for the American people.
Oh. Well, God only knows what it'll cost.
Yeah, so far, that's the estimate.
Look what Bush did in Afghanistan.
Yep.
That was trillions, off the books, trillions. And who's running Iraq? I don't see Iraq as the garden spot of the world. You know what's interesting? Vietnam. Now, the average age of the soldier in Vietnam was 19 years old. That was the average age, 19 years old. Everybody was scrambling. My buddies a couple were drafted, a couple went. I was lucky enough to get that late lottery. I went down for my draft notice, and I figured, geez, I'm going to go. But they had another. They didn't think it was fair enough because so many poor kids were going. So they did another draft, and you could coincide with your birthday. I couldn't figure that out, Patty, to save my life. And that night of the draft, somebody said, "What's your number, Jim?" I went to this little bar to have a drink, and they go, "Jim," my buddies are sitting at the table. They go, "What's your number, Jim?" And I said, "It's 322, right?"
Right.
Anyway, so that night, the news agency opened at 4:00 in the morning, so I had to find out what my number was in the draft. So I'm under the lamppost with a buddy, and I look at the exact number I called at the bar. I mean, but I swear to God, I couldn't figure it out. I was at school at the time. I'm like, how does this draft work? We don't know. The point is, now this draft, why do they want to draft? I have no idea. When the reality is, Patty, you can see what war is like now. It isn't ground troops any longer. It's missiles.
It's a video game. It's drones and
right. Yeah. So I mean, that it's almost obsolete. The idea that you're going to put thousands of soldiers into an area where they can be just mutilated with bombs, just like we're doing to the civilians in several places.
Yep.
But what kills me? When I was thinking like Turning Point, I was watching a Turning Point USA. I was watching a religious station, and they had them on for about 20 minutes, and they were like ministers talking to these young people about intertwining the Republican Party and religion. I thought, now that's an odd thing.
I know.
that's very strange indeed. So the only way you can glean from this is they're trying to capture the young people to intertwine religion and politics at the same time, which is anti-American, Patty. Because the reality is, without the church, without the separation of church and state, that's what makes us unique.
I agree.
I mean,
Jim, I got to run into some more phone calls, Jim.
And good luck tonight with that. I love that podcast.
Oh, you do? I'm so glad. I'll let Kirk know. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Patty. Thank you.
I want to make sure we get to our calls. We got Ron in Chicago. Ron, what's on your mind, my friend?
Yes, the Republicans are bragging that people are getting bigger tax refunds this year, but a lot of good that does when the price of everything's going up.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And also there was a bad joke at the White House today. I don't know if you heard this, that this is true. Dr. Oz tells...
Go ahead. Tell people.
Yeah. Dr. Oz was telling reporters that Trump says that drinking Diet Coke will cure cancer. He drinks 12 cancer.
Because if Diet Coke can kill grass, then it must kill cancer. That's literally what he was saying.
Oh, is that what he was saying?
He said if it kills grass, I'll bet it kills cancer. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then Caroline Levitt comes out and says, "Oh, the president was just joking. He's a big joker."
Dr. Oz, Trump argues that diet soda is good for him because if it kills grass, it'll kill cancer. But here's the thing. I mean, what makes me, for all the people who take good care of themselves, go running, they avoid aspartame or any of the diet sodas. They don't drink alcohol. They, eat fish and chicken or whatever, or they're vegetarians. And look at this turd, drinking Diet Coke, taking Adderall, eating Big Macs and French fries and no workout, just waddling around a golf course. Oh, you're making me yell, Ron.
Sorry.
All right, I'll talk.
All right.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Yep. And let's get to Roosevelt. Hey, Roosevelt, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, Patty, thank you for taking my call. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm well. I'm hydrating. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm hydrating too. What am I drinking? Lemonade. That's it.
That's it. All right. Hold on to it.
All right. So I got two subjects. One of them is going to sound like a conspiracy.
Oh,
okay.
At this point, who cares? Go ahead.
Okay. So we know that Trump threatened the Pope. We know that this knucklehead VP Vance also threatened him by saying, basically, in other words, stay in your lane.
Yep. He said he should consider carefully when he talks about theology.
That's it. That theology, that was going to be the word.
Yeah.
Okay. So my thinking is this. I think Trump I don't know, maybe I'm giving him too much credit. You tell me, Patty. So I think he did this on purpose for the simple reason that the Pope had plans of coming here to the United States, possibly to Chicago.
Yep.
Possibly to
I see where you're going with this. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. Possibly to a Sox game.
Yep.
And remember, the Pope is number one as far as favorability, or
yep.
In other words, he's more famous. He's most popular than him. Okay. Yep. So that would have put a big how should I say, attention to the Pope if he would come to the United States.
Trump would have hated that, sure.
Exactly. So that's one of my points. And the other one is basically lift himself up. Did you see the latest AI from Trump?
The one where he's hugging, the one where Jesus is cradling him in his chest, and it looks like queer porn. It looks like gay romance novel. My Weekend with Jesus.
Yeah.
He's cuddling into his chest. It looks like Jesus kind of stroking his head.
Everything about this guy is weird.
It's so weird.
Wait, I got another one for you on the same subject.
I got to run. Make it quick. Go ahead.
Okay. Did you see him yesterday playing the guitar and playing the drums to Don't Stop Believing, speaking of the Sox, by Journey?
Oh, yeah. Don't Stop Believing?
Yeah. Don't Stop Believing. So he put that AI.
Oh, jeez.
You got 15 seconds?
Go. Just go.
Here we go. So I'm going to send you this. There's a poll that women under 44, particularly Anglo-Saxon women, are moving to Mexico. Why? Because they got the first woman president. Now they got universal. Now they're going to have universal health care. And 3, the abortion issue. Let's not forget that happened under the last president of Mexico.
Yeah, better start learning Spanish, everybody. I got to run, Roosevelt. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Let's take a break here. Oh, by the way, if we had more priests that were preaching like the Pope, I might go. I'm not saying I'm not a big fan of religion, but I believe in spirituality and I appreciate the teachings of Christ. And if there were sermons like the Pope's in more Catholic churches, I would be there. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, at least on Easter. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal.
Stephanie Miller.
I get to say my favorite sentence in the entire world. Here comes Kathy Griffin, hero of democracy. Hello.
How are we going to do this? Because I know we're both going to want to talk at the same time because it's a love fest. I am so in love with you. You are so important and wonderful and funny and brilliant, and you are who I aspire to be. When I grow up, I want to be you.
No, you.
Stephanie Miller, weekday mornings 8 to 11 on WCPT 820. Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation of Driving It Home with me, Patti Vasquez, on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Joining me in studio is someone I know from the community that I've wanted to have on the show. We've had on the show before for a fundraiser last year. I missed this year's fundraiser, so I wanted to have him in studio and promote the great work that he does. It's Bill Zelenka from Olives Neighborhood Garden, an award-winning nonprofit garden right here on the northwest side of Chicago in Jefferson Park, providing fresh produce delivered weekly to local food banks. Hey, Bill, how are you doing today?
Absolutely fabulous, Patty. Thank you for having me on the show.
My pleasure.
As you said, I'm the curator of Olives. So anybody in the neighborhood, come on by and see me. I love volunteers. I love spreading my knowledge. So we do great work. Like Patty said, we do 2 food pantries a week. So right now we have our radishes in the ground, and we should be harvesting hopefully in a month. Yay!
It's only about a month? How long ago did you plant the radishes?
Yeah. So the way it works, as Patty says, I'm a 3rd grade dropout, 40-year machinist, but I've been in olives from the beginning. I basically was on the coattails of Andy Brecklin. So the way I'm working the garden as an urban farmer in Chicago, we start off with obviously correct soil. I tell everyone that the clay that you stand on makes great bricks, does not grow good vegetables. So I encourage people to start off with a raised bed if you can. If you can't start with a raised bed, I tell people use the ground like a clay pot, make a hole like an auger, fill that hole with all your nutrients and food, keep feeding the hole, and you'll have delicious vegetables down the road. Now, the way the garden I run, I have to feed 2 food pantries. Right now, each food pantry has about 50 families. It could be 1 person or 10. So I have to produce in bulk. So right off the bat, we try to what they call is square footage farming. So we try to use every inch of my little garden at Laramie and Ainsley. So come on by and see it. So once the ground hits about 48 degrees, I can already start putting in my radishes and my beets. Now, radishes takes about 30 days from seed to harvest. So I'm going to start getting my 4 patches of radishes. I've already got 3 in the ground, 2 are up. And so hopefully I have my first harvest of radish about, say, week 1 of May, maybe. The weather's a little goofy. You know how that goes.
Ugh, chaotic.
Yeah. Thank God for the rain, but we need the heat. We need the heat. So I tell people there's 2 things I grow. I grow vegetables and I grow fruit. And my idea of a fruit is if it has a flower and a seed. So I'll have tomatoes, green peppers, eggplants. Peppers are great plants. They average about 12 years of life. They don't realize in Chicago they're going to die in November. That's why my November harvest is fantastic. I try to tell people, too, if you're in Chicago, do not grow what the animals want to eat. Don't grow melons, grapes, so forth. I do a lot of peppers because they produce a lot per week. I do eggplants, squash. They do not eat squash. They don't like peppers. Believe it or not, a rabbit in my garden would eat the weeds before the plants.
Huh.
Yes, that's how it works. Now,
how about carrots? Because there's that whole...
I grow 4,000 carrot seeds.
What?
Carrot seeds are like peppers. They're incredible. It's incredible. We did have a lady back in the day, me and Andy watched a blind lady take pepper, if you can think of pepper, and each one of those seeds, I broadcast them, and I put them under what we have called Asian long beans. So our green beans go about 12 inches. So the structure I built for the green beans, underneath it, I put in the carrots. Now, rabbits don't know what's growing under the ground, so a rabbit would jump right through my carrot patch because they don't dig. Now, unlike Bugs Bunny, but yes, rabbits are not like Bugs Bunny. They don't know there's a carrot under the ground. They'll jump right over it. So what I do is I grow the carrots where the green beans are growing until the green beans, I have to harvest them. That's when I pull the carrots out. So I try to use every square inch of the garden.
And for folks who, they see all these, social media posts about how they have to grow seedlings in the house and then transfer to outside. You start in the ground, or do you do both?
So yes, great question. Now, I've been trying to use the greenhouse that was donated to the garden back in 20. It was actually a COVID house. So for the last 5 years, I've had an official, real greenhouse. But I can't keep it heated. If you're going to grow plants at home, let's say you want to do a tomato plant, an eggplant, a pepper plant, you need 12 weeks before it goes in the ground. At that 12 weeks in the house, you got to maintain above 50 degrees, moisture. You got to keep and then put a fan on it or put some resistance on it so a lot of plants go real skinny and tall because there's nothing fighting them. I get all my information, basically. I'm a YouTube college guy or a Google University, because I graduated 3rd grade from St. Cominos, and, I beat things with a hammer as a machinist. So I do a lot of trial and error. So in my greenhouse, because I can't control temperature, I grow all my squashes and cucumbers. But squashes and cucumbers, they don't mind the temperature situations. The only thing I put in the ground is in November, we do a garlic. So there's 2 types of garlic. There's a stiff neck garlic and a soft neck garlic. So in Chicago, we do a stiff neck, which grows from November to June. If you're in California, you do a soft neck, which goes from March to November. So we're in a crop of garlic. That's fantastic. Then in the ground, I'm going to put all my seeds, which will be my carrots, my green beans, my radishes, my beets, and my bok choy. Now, I started the bok choy in the greenhouse, not realize this is my first year for bok choy. I'm so excited. Yeah, you can't believe it. Yeah. But the bok choy grows so fast indoors, it got out of hand. So it was like one of the greatest so far. You put it in the ground overnight, it came right up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's how I was surprised too. You should see the garden. If you go to the Facebook, I'm not one of those. I don't tweet or twat or tweet. I'm not on that Facebook nonsense. I'm sorry. I'm poor with the English. My mother taught me a lot as a child. She said I bounce really well.
Oh boy.
So that's why I'm this funny. So So if you come by the garden, you're going to see that the bok choy is doing fabulous because the ground temperature is above 50. The radishes are doing great. And you'll see that the cages I built are for the tomato plants. Now, remember, plants are vines. So if you have a vine type of plant, or most plants, there's 2 types of plants. They're called indeterminate and determinate plants. So I grow an indeterminate tomato plant, which as long as you cage it, will grow up to 12 feet. So if you come by the garden, you say, Bill, how do you get 10-foot tall tomatoes? Well, I do several things. I buy them from the store. because it's a lot easier than growing them, trust me. And I do a lot of lovings. It's called Massaging the Girls, because all my beautiful plants are my daughters, and I love eating my grandchildren. So I have to go and I have to massage the plants to keep them in the cages, to keep the heads growing till they get up and over. People ask me about pruning my tomato plants. Now, yes, there's all kinds of correct ways to prune, to absorb, control the energy, to keep the garden nice. I'm going to have 10 cages of 3 tomato plants per cage at 10 feet tall. So I will overwater and love my sun versus pruning. I will get some of the leaves out of the way so the tomatoes will get riper faster. Now, people ask about watering. I overwater because I'm a compulsive person. I got that A personality. Plus, 90% of the beautiful garden is all fruits, and fruits are all water. So I have an irrigation system set up at the roots. Remember, like 80% of all plants, they want to be root watered. So if you have a tomato plant and you're doing a normal sprinkler, it's hitting the leaves, not the roots.
Yes.
So what I do is there's many systems online. You can see, if you want to come by the garden, if you get on Facebook, you see what I do. It's a basic irrigation system, so I can water the roots of the plant so that the plants get the water and I don't have to over water, because people don't realize you can water an hour and you're only going to get like an 1/8 penetration in the ground, because watering is tremendous, and you just got to water. I'm sorry. Any other questions? So I'm going to keep talking, because Patty's really
I'm gonna take a break. We have in studio with us, as you can now hear, an incredible gardener who provides so much nourishment for people across our communities in Chicago. He provides produce to 2 pantries in the Chicagoland area, and I wanted to connect with him, and I wanted to talk to him because a lot of people are going to be seeking you out. We're concerned about the price of things. I want people to seek you out, not just in the event that they need nourishment. They also have a food pantry. He's also got like a community pantry there where people can drop off canned goods, items for people to brush their teeth and wash themselves. He provides a lot to our community, and I'm grateful for that. And I want you to connect with organizations like Olive's Garden. That's Olive's Garden on Facebook. Is that the right Facebook page? Olive's Neighborhood Garden for the Hungry. And I also want you to be inspired by Bill and start planting some of your own food. That's what I want to encourage folks to do this summer. So now, not the summer, right now. We'll talk more with Bill when we come back in just a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. If you have any questions for Bill, we're here. He's got headphones. I can give him headphones. He can take your questions. You can text or call 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. More after this.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered showers and storms continue tonight, a low of 59 degrees, southwest winds at 10 to 20. Thursday, scattered showers and storms are likely, with a high temperature of 69 degrees, and northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Friday, partly sunny, with a high of 74. Another round of thunderstorms Saturday, high of 65. Sunny and cooler Sunday, high temperature of 52. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 72.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Think Theory Radio.
We're joined by Allie Mae Miller, hypnotherapist.
Hypnosis is portrayed in media in general. Manipulation, mind control. People think it's like a truth serum. My clients describe it as they're in control the whole time. It's definitely not a truth serum. The client decides what they share with me, even in a state of hypnosis.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
From city streets to political beats, you're driving it home with Patti Vasquez. Where progressive talk fuels the ride.
But we're putting the politics on pause. I mean, it's somewhat politically related, but this is mostly for you, everyone. I want you to consider planting in wherever you can, whether it's in your own garden, on your balcony, going to your neighborhood gardens. We are talking to Bill Zelenka, who is Zelenka, am I saying it right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm the curator of Olives.
Olives Community Garden for the Hungry. Olive's Neighborhood Garden for the Hungry.
Okay. It was Garden for the Hungry when Seth Brecklin started it. And Olive at 93 gave us the water. Then our third year, beautiful olive died. Oh, now I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. So then we turned it to Garden for the Hungry, the Olives Neighborhood Garden.
And you work with Boy Scouts as well.
Well, yeah, I have 3 Eagle Scout sons. I'm a 30-year scout leader. And this all started as an Eagle Project. So like you mentioned, the pantry, that was Brendan Ailing's Eagle Project. Martin Radding gave us a library, and my favorite second son, Max, gave us the water system, which is fantastic. And because of all this community service, we have, I'm a 501(c)(3) charity. And because of the new policy of the federal government, the SNAP policy now, if you're eligible to have service hours, please come see me. I'm a 501(c)(3). Bring your paperwork, because they're not going to make it easy. The government's going to make it very hard for you to feed your kids. So bring the paperwork. It's not like you go online and push buttons. They're going to make you mail in a monthly form, and they're going to make it really hard for you. So please don't miss this opportunity. Come see me. You can I have a beautiful shirt to give you. It says you can only earn the shirt that I poured weeds at Olive. You can't buy the shirt. And you come down, and like Patty said, we're going to teach you how to do all kinds of great stuff. Like if you are in an apartment or a condo and you want to do container, I tell people the best bang for your buck for container would be garlic. It's farming for idiots. You stick it in the ground, you stare at it, and you pull it in the ground and you eat it.
You can even put the ones from the grocery store.
Well, I would come see me or buy it, because sometimes the grocery stores stuff are genetically modified not to be reproduced. They're made just to be to the store. Like I wouldn't recommend using a green pepper seed and to try to use that seed to grow. Because in today's where they do science, I can't explain it. Sometimes those seeds don't work. I actually go to Greenhouse Farms at Butera behind Red Lobster, and they start now, and they give you a whole 48 plants for $22. I can't even grow with that shit. Oh, my God. So I'm going to have 48 plants, 48 green peppers, 40 sweet. So I tell everybody, go to Greenhouse. They're fantastic people. So it's a lot cheaper and easier on your psyche and your brain if you go buy the plants. But sometimes you put seeds in the ground, and you do everything right. You nurture, you love, you play music, and you water it, and the seeds still don't plant. And you want to pull your hair out, which you don't have much of. So please, don't get crazy. And like Patty says, please, everybody like the fishermen. If me giving you fish, no help. If you teach her to fish, fantastic. And I'm telling you, I'll give you the easiest way. You put it in the ground like an idiot. You stare at it like an idiot, and you get to eat it. It's so fantastic.
I love
So
this.
right now, I'm working with a community church service, I guess. It's called 5150 at Northwest Highway. And on Thursdays, they have a community kitchen, and they feed people. It's beautiful. So his name is Andrew, and I told him that this year I'm really not dedicated to food pantries for my produce, and I produce so much that I'm also going to start giving Andrew on Wednesdays like bok choy and eggplants, so he can also help feed the people. Please, let's feed everyone. I feel everyone should eat. I'm strange like that. I don't know.
You're a wild man. For folks who know, who might know, I volunteer for the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, where we also we have vendors who donate a lot of the excess produce to 5150, and everyone in the. But I also have the because I do volunteer. I come to the Jefferson Park Chamber of Commerce, and the best part of the meetings are always you, Bill.
Oh God, cut it out! Cut it out. I just like to have fun. Keep it light and entertaining.
You mentioned building, and you do great at it. You mentioned building cages for like the tomatoes, and you had to build.
Yes.
What do you use to build those?
Oh, it's so simple. So simple. I use the concrete forms. They're 4x8, 6-inch squares, and basic electrical conduit. And you make cylinders and you pound them in the ground. The squash I use. So I tell people, okay, we're getting back to those two fantastic words. So there's winter squash and summer squash. So winter squash is an acorn butternut spaghetti. Now they have a vine. So I tell people they're like Europeans. They're lean, they're mean, they want to run. So you can't really cage them. But summer squash, zucchini, saffron, they're short, fat, lazy like me. So you can cage them because they're normally a 4-foot print, but you don't want to take up your whole garden. So I take that same cylinder for concrete 4x8, I cut them in half, I put 2 plants in there. I kind of keep the branches, the leaves inside, but that's okay. And I kind of condense them to kind of control it. The reason why I get so much production out of that little tiny lot is I try to go vertical with everything. So vertical works better. So like if you're on an apartment building and or you want to do container stuff because you don't have a yard, you can't go vertical. That's why they have the word patio tomatoes. Those are determined to short, bushy, and fat like me. So those are the kind of stuff you got to look out for when you buy stuff for your stuff. And I tell people, it's a lot easier if you just come by me, pull some weeds with me. I'll give you a tomato, and it's a lot easier, and you can have a great time. I'm 62. I've been retired 5 years. I found out that 75% of all people die at home. So if you're never at home, you have a 75% chance to live forever. And if you come to my garden, the garden, there's no roof, there's no ceilings. And if you do happen to drop dead, you're not at home. So it works.
I have a request. Okay, do you have I just learned the other thing. If you want to add something to that, people are healthier when they dance. Better than exercise and puzzles is dancing. So we could dance while we're gardening.
Oh my God! Because
I'll bring you some speakers.
Yeah, we have, and of course, you come to the garden. One of the things I actually turned the garden over to Bobian's Garden Club as an urban farm for the 6, 7, 8 to teach them. I'm a beekeeper. We also have solar panels and a windmill, and I have a 24-hour YouTube channel. So if you go on Garden for the Hungry, you can watch Bill in the garden dancing and talking to the girls. So yeah, come on by. We can teach you how to do solar. We can teach you how to do bees. We just put the bees in. So last year we got ourselves another 9 gallons of honey. All I do is filter it and give it all away and make everyone happy. And I love my bees. I had the other day, 378 came by to say hi. I have to number my bees. There's no way I can name them all. So I just give them numbers. It's a lot easier because I'm dyslexic and, geez, I can't even read. So it's easier to give them a simple number, and it works really nice because I found out that, of course, Patty knows, being the queen bee, that I'm a simple drone, and my job is to service the queen. I mean, oh, my God, you should find out. These beautiful drone bees, they fly out into my green pepper. Remember, bees don't go flower to flower. A bee will start on green pepper until he fills his nectar. Then he goes back with his nectar sac to the beehive, and he does a great dance to let everybody know we got this beautiful nectar sac. Remember, bees have dirty feet. So when Johnny comes home tomorrow, Mom says, Johnny, your feet stink. I know. That way you know who I am. So that's how bees find out who they are. It's all about pheromones. So we got some big words we're going to learn right now. Pheromones is one of them. Then we go from our nectar sac digestive system to 5 bees' mouths to clean it, to stick that beautiful honey in a beautiful cone. Then when bees go to a beautiful flower that's harmonic, and it's sending out this beautiful signal saying, bees, come get my nectar. The bees come flying in for the nectar. Guess what's hanging around? Pollen. It's hanging around looking for a ride. So as this negatively charged bee flies in this beautiful flower, the pollen says, hey, let's go for a ride. And they jump on the bee, and they go back to the hive. Well, when they get cleaned of the pollen, guess what? Another big word, amino acids is in the pollen. So they take the pollen and make amoebas. Remember, bees don't eat honey. They eat a jelly without peanut butter. But not the queen. The queen eats royal jelly because the queen is so special. So they take the pollen and the jelly to make, honey to make a jelly. So when they make a royal jelly, which is high in amino acid, that's only fed to the queen. So not only does you ladies get special service and special food and live 3 years, we die in 12 weeks. So then if we want to make a new queen with the larvae, we feed it the royal jelly. That's why when you hear words like royal jelly, queen bee, royal jelly is super expensive versus regular honey. And that's how the bees work. Remember, bees want a 95-degree hive, so they don't like when winter comes. So Mr. Bill has a hard time keeping those poor Italian bees trying to live through Chicago and understanding what zero weather is. But that's okay. They're Italian. They drink a lot of wine. They don't mind.
Amazing. First of all, 2 things. One, Bill mentioned that you can come and volunteer.
Yes.
This garden is so close to the Jefferson Park Blue line.
5200 Ainsley. We're at the corner of Laramie and Ainsley, right up behind Jefferson Park Terminal, right down the street from Bobian. Come on by.
Oh, my gosh. This is fantastic. And you can go to his Facebook page, the YouTube page. It's Olive's Neighborhood Garden for the Hungry on Facebook as well as YouTube.
Yeah,
so my last question to you before you go. We're going to have you back. I think we already have a demand for you to return.
Okay, good. Thank
me
you.
and Lady B. What if people haven't started seedlings? Can they start anything from seed now? What should they put?
Yeah, okay. At this point, you don't need a greenhouse or a house. Put everything in the ground.
Put everything in the ground.
Yeah, everything is in the ground.
Go for it.
Yeah, right now, your ground, it's all about ground temperature. So once you're above 50 degrees, everything's a go. But green beans want 58, who cares? As soon as you're over 50 degrees, the seeds, like right now, if you come by the garden or to see Facebook pictures, my radishes are up, my bok choy is up, the beets are up. So, yeah, everything for this point is all straight to the ground.
Let's see. I'm checking out the
Don't pay
temperatures.
retail for diamonds.
What
Come
was
to
that?
cleanorigin.com.
What? I didn't know anything.
No, that's me. I mean.
What's happening?
That's me. No, I'm a nervous wreck.
That's okay.
I don't sleep. I don't drink coffee.
But Bill,
yes.
Before I let you go, the temperature on, did you see the temps for Sunday? At night, it's going to be 35 degrees.
What did I mention?
You said 50, the ground temperature.
That Patty's
so
sharp.
it's okay.
See, she's listening.
Okay,
not like me.
Before
ground
we go,
temperature is 50, and it's going to stay 50. Yes.
Before you go, I know I have an interview coming up, but I do want to take a question from one person. Put your headphones on so you can hear.
Sorry.
It's
I'm
all right.
Sorry. Okay.
So here is Al has a question. Al, go ahead. You're on with Bill.
Hi. Good afternoon. I've been growing an Italian squash called Kukutsu, and it is a vine. It is a vine that grows wild, and I have a vertical trellis for it, but I had problems with aphids last year, and I am wondering if you have any suggestions of how to prevent that this year. You know, I also found that, you got to pay attention to the soil, and like I put a bunch of mushroom compost in there, and that really helped me last year too.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yes. There's several things. If you want to stay organic, if you go on YouTube, it's Dawn soap, vinegar, baking soda. I found that doesn't quite work as well. I use a Neiman oil. So you're going to have problems this year with aphids, flea beetles, cucumber beetles. So right off the bat, go get the Neiman oil. Go get yourself a spray container. Mix the Neiman oil with the spray container. I don't like the homemade remedy stuff. It really doesn't work. The Neiman oil is from a Neiman tree, so you're still staying on the organic line, and it works fantastic. So we're hoping two things. Without the snow and the deep freeze, now that's why I rototill my garden. I rototill the garden in November to try to get the bugs up for the freeze more than to break up the oxygen. So yes, go get Neiman oil. It's at Menards. It works fantastic. As soon as you put your plants in the ground, start spraying them. If you're growing your squash in the house, don't put them in the ground till you get to about the third leaf and when it's almost going to flower. Then when you do put them in the ground, it's more controllable. Your aphids weren't as bad last year, but they might be bad this year. And they attack like tomato plants. So you can use the oil and then spray it in the morning and underneath the leaf. Or in the evening. I try not to do watering at night because you want the water to bake off so it doesn't create mildew. So if you water at night, you have a tendency to have the water not bake off and create mildew. And then last year I skipped growing eggplants because flea beetles attacked my eggplants. So I switched around to try to fool the bugs. But the Neiman oil works fantastic. Hope that helps. I have to leave. Patty's telling me to cut it. She's giving me cutting the throat thing, the scissors. Thank you, everybody.
Al,
have a great day.
That's Olive's Neighborhood Garden for the hungry. Everyone go to Facebook and YouTube, and Bill will be back in May. We've already got a request for your return.
All right,
Hope that helps, Al. Have a good one.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. When we come back, we're going to have Dylan Conmy in a moment about their event coming up next week. More in a moment on WCPT and KKNW 1150.
Okay, bye, Pat.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the costs of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes, and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month, and for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
I am so excited to welcome to the show our friend Dylan. Is it Dylan? Is it Conmy? I don't want to say your name incorrectly.
Yes, it is.
Dylan Conmy.
No, you said it absolutely correct.
I bet you people go through different iterations, and you don't need that. Oh, do we have? Is this a cat?
Yes.
Is this a cat? Dog in your lap?
No, this is a Great Pyrenees. So I'm trying to prevent him from jumping up on me so that it doesn't look like I'm being attacked by a polar bear.
We don't mind. We don't mind seeing your dog. Hello.
Okay.
What's your dog's name?
His name is Cody.
Hi, Cody. Well, you have an incredible event coming up. Dylan is the executive director of HumanKInd Initiative and Ottawa Family Pride in Ottawa, Illinois. We're excited about our comedy event coming up in June. First, we want to talk about your April 25th fundraiser. And before that, first tell folks what you do so that we can all enjoy coming to your gala. Your gala. I apologize.
No, you're fine. So I'm the executive director of HumanKInd Initiative, and we basically provide resources and opportunities for the LGBTQ plus community over here in LaSalle County, the Tri-County area, and allies. And we've been doing that. Basically, Pride Fest has existed for 5 years this year, and the nonprofit developed from that for about a year now. So we bought a community center last year, and we kind of, whatever people need, we try to make it happen.
That's wonderful. Cody's looking at me with love. Why won't you keep petting me? Stop talking to this crazy lady on the radio. So I want to talk a little bit about how challenging the last several. I mean, and you know what? It's all been challenging, right? It's just different challenges along the way, isn't it? But these are aggressive. These are attacks. I have a young friend who had, the whole conversation we've had over the last decade, I thought we had come so far when we were talking about pronouns, right? When we talk about how we want people to talk to us. Like, I just have never understood why telling someone, like, if my name is Patricia and I ask you to call me Patty, that's what I go by. That's my preference. Like, how hard is this?
Yeah, it doesn't affect anyone's life.
No.
So, and it's funny how easy it is to use they or them when you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you are, according to you, maybe being forced to use that, suddenly it's an issue.
Yes.
And it's just ridiculous.
Well, not only does it force, you make it an issue, but also people now, like I said, I remember seeing a banner at Pride last year that said, we didn't come this far to come this far, right? And meaning we gained some ground, knowing that there were still challenges ahead of us. But I have a young friend who identifies as they, but they don't want to come out to their family because they're worried that they won't accept that. And I just find that sad that, I know that we still have parents who don't accept their children or, so I mean, like I need to get one of those. I'm a pee mom.
Yeah.
I'll give hugs.
I mean, that is one of the most popular things that we have at Ottawa Family Pride. From year one, anyone who volunteers to be one of the free mom hugs or free dad hugs. I mean, it's something so simple.
Yeah. But
you don't think about, I always say I'm very fortunate to have come from a family that just accepted me. And I'm from the suburbs, and now I live in rural Ottawa, and I actually transitioned as an adult out here in Ottawa. And you take for granted what Cook County even has and stuff like that, but it's still not enough in Cook County.
No.
But so many people don't have a family that they feel they can, come out to safely. So that's what Family Pride Fest actually is all about. And we are probably the second largest Pride Festival in Illinois at this point because we are family friendly and it's so accessible to everyone. And that's something we're very, very proud of.
It's remarkable. And I really, again, we have a regular show now on Saturdays. It's Ellie Krug, the illegal trans woman, hosts a show here. And I have had conversations with her for over a year. And I mean, I guess I grew up in a household where there were conversations. Like my dad might say things that were unnecessary and cruel. But for the most part, it doesn't affect me. Right. I mean, like, if I wanted to express myself, I would hope that my parents would support me. If I wanted to be it's not even express, it's be, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I mean, I probably could guess why it got as far as it is right now, but that's a different show.
Yeah, it's okay.
We don't have time for that. But we as a country, I don't know why it became such an issue to take somebody's personal business and make it so personal on your end, because truly having your identity does not affect anyone else's life whatsoever. It's just basic respect.
It is.
And when basic respect became part of a civil war, we completely just lost it. And we're in the middle of a trans genocide at this point.
Yeah.
You know, they live, and I never imagined that that would be something. There's a lot of stuff I never imagined we'd still be seeing, or that would be surfacing in general civil rights issues. But as a trans man, to be seeing the news stories coming across day after day after day, and HumanKInd initiative, you know, we're Tri-County area essentially, but you have to travel 80 miles to Peoria or 80 miles to Chicago to hit another community center or something like that. So we really cover about 10 counties worth of people. And to know that so much is going on, and to kind of grapple with that on a daily basis, and have the news coming in and be like, do we have the funding to provide this resource or this resource? Yeah. It's just become, it's so heavy. Which is why with our gala, it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. But
and do you have folks? Illinois? Because I always see online, like, especially when this administration came back into power, I saw people saying, "I'm going to move because my child is trans and I want to live someplace safe." Is Ottawa a place where people are identifying as somewhere to move to have access to more support?
You know, I will say, when I first moved to Ottawa, there wasn't much going on just in general. Ottawa has become, Ottawa's become a very safe space. Personally, I will say that. You know, when we started Pride Fest, I never knew what was going to become of it. I requested for 2 parks to be used for a Pride festival. I went to the City Hall and I was like, well, here goes nothing, you know, type thing. And that first year out, we had about 4,500 people. And I remember reaching out to your show and talking to you just when we first got started and whatnot. And last year we had almost 18,000 people, which is almost the population of Ottawa.
Wow.
And we're expecting to be more than that this year, because people are coming year round now. I see TikToks that show Ottawa listed in the top 5 places to visit for the day if you're LGBTQ and stuff like that. And it's become a nice little safe haven, you know, like a big blue safe wave in the middle of a red area. And I think that's just a remarkable thing to embrace. So,
well, and to that, we want to continue to support the work that you do at the HumanKInd Initiative. Tell folks about the fundraiser on April 25th.
So this is our 2nd annual Night for HumanKInd fundraiser. This year we are over at Pine Hills Golf Course, which is actually right across from our community center. We love Pine Hills. We're going to be outside under the stars, and we basically fill the night with music. We're going to have our 50-50. We've got some drag performances coming up. Pine Hills will provide the food. It's a black tie gala, so it's a chance to get dressed up. When nowadays I feel like there aren't enough chances to get dressed up.
I agree. So. I'm feeling like you want to get dressed up too, you know?
Yes, exactly. So it's just a night for being positive. It's a night for celebrating. We'll have our live auction, our silent auction, and State Representative Murray Briel is going to speak for us. Always a pleasure to have her at anything we do. And, you know, it's just a positive night to try to raise some money. The money that we raise at the gala goes not only to Pride Fest funds, because it costs a lot to put on a Pride Festival, but also we've got some great projects coming up. And so we're hoping to get we're hoping to hit some milestones this year so we can continue to build on the community center as well.
And part of that Pride Fest, folks, is going to be a comedy night featuring Ken Mejia Beal and Gwen LaRocca, and I'll be hosting. I know we've got some other names that we're working on. But Gwen LaRocca, who has been on HBO, Ken Mejia Beal, who everyone knows from my show and some great storytelling events that he does. We're excited to be joining you for a comedy night as part of your Pride Fest.
Yes, I am so excited about that.
Thank you.
Any stand-up show is amazing, but I am thrilled. I know we've been trying to work on scheduling for a couple of years now to get you to come.
I threw it out there, and I wanted to do so. Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. We're very excited. So that's June 20th. It's the weekend after Pride Fest.
Excellent. So, and folks can go to humankindinitiative.org to learn more about the gala, and as well as the comedy shows and the Pride, the whole Pride, and everything you do,
Fest.
And everything you do.
Pretty much everything. Yeah,
yes.
We're on Facebook. We're on Blue Sky. And there's plenty of contact info on the website, and there's a donate button on every page because, I mean, we all know how federal grants run and everything else. And right now, being that we're labeled as a terrorist organization now, I don't think we'll be getting any money.
Everyone go to humankindinitiative.org and support the work they do. Come join us for the gala next week on the 25th and Pride Fest in June. Thank you so much, Dylan. I look forward to talking to you ahead of the event as well. Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you so much. Let's take a break here and we'll continue our conversation with the Up North podcast in just a moment on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150.
That's the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you money and energy. With rebates on Energy Star appliances, so you can come back to a home full of savings. Discover more ways to save at ComEd.com/home savings. ComEd, powering lives.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. A Pakistani delegation is in Tehran trying to arrange another round of negotiations between Iran and the U.S. Saga Magani has the latest.
Iran's foreign ministry says Pakistan's talked with both nations and will discuss their views in detail. Regional officials tell the AP the U.S. and Iran have agreed in principle to extend the ceasefire that'll expire next week. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt says there's no formal deal. Still,
we remain very much engaged.
But tensions remain high, and Iranian military commanders threatening to halt regional trade unless the U.S. stops blocking Iran's ports. And Treasury Chief Scott Bessent warns the Trump administration will ramp up economic pain on Iran.
The financial equivalent of what we saw in the kinetic activities.
Meaning the bombing campaign. Sagar Magani, Washington.
On Wall Street, stocks closed mostly higher, with the S&P hitting a new record. A New York jury's found Live Nation and its Ticketmaster subsidiary engaged in an anti-competitive monopoly over big concert venues. An Atlanta man's been charged in a string of attacks Monday that took place over a matter of hours, leaving 2 women dead and a man in critical condition. One of the women worked for the Department of Homeland Security. And Lisa Dwyer reports the eastern half of the country is getting hit by a heat wave.
Cities like New York, Philadelphia, and Atlanta are experiencing unusual April heat. Forecasters say the near-record temperatures could last into the weekend. The heat follows severe storms in Kansas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. More storms are in the forecast for the Midwest. Experts note that the duration of this heat wave is rare for April. The heat can be stressful on the human body, especially since many have not yet acclimated to higher temperatures. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
This is AP News. Polls show Americans still think their taxes are too high, but the Trump administration says more than 53 million filers have claimed new deductions included in last summer's tax and spending law. And if you're still grinding away on your return, Julie Walker offers this.
It's officially tax day, April 15th, and if you have not filed yet, you have options. 1, get it done by midnight and submit it. Forms are available at irs.gov and on your state's official website. With the rise of e-filing, post offices may not be open late today the way they used to be on tax day. 2, get to an accountant. Many offices are open late today. 3, file for an extension, which will give you until October 15th. But remember, if you owe money, you need to estimate how much and pay it today to the IRS and the state. Otherwise, there will be penalties and interest. I'm Julie Walker.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered showers and storms continue tonight, a low of 59 degrees, southwest winds at 10 to 20. Thursday, scattered showers and storms are likely, with a high temperature of 69 degrees and northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Friday, partly sunny with a high of 74. Another round of thunderstorms Saturday, high of 65. Sunny and cooler Sunday, high temperature of 52. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 72.
Turn your tax refund into new countertops at Menards. Make this the year you check that project off the list. Countertops are the center of the home, and we offer stylish options with durability that will last for years. We can transform your everyday spaces into gathering places with custom craft countertops. Check out our kitchen showrooms in-store or visit menards.com and get a free design estimate. Plus, view our weekly flyer for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
And take it away, Up North podcast. Kirk Bangstad, Ben Cominos joins us from Minocqua Brewing Company's podcast, Up North, where we talk all things that are important, not just in Wisconsin, but really everywhere in the country. Kirk, take it away, my friend.
Patty, we have got a brand new producer today, and his name is Sam. And Sam, he's flying blind today. He's learning how to do all this stuff. But wait till you see some of the graphics we put together for tonight.
That's exciting.
But this is the Up North podcast. Kirk Bangstad, Ben Cominos, Patti Vasquez. We always squeeze into Patty's show in Chicago on the last hour of our Wednesday show. So things are always a little helter-skelter here, but we're happy to reach as many people as we can, and getting onto your show is pretty darn awesome for us here in Wisconsin. By the way, Wisconsin, this is about as Wisconsin as it gets. I'm in my cabin in northern Wisconsin. You can see the wooden paneling. So I'm about as far away from civilization as you can get in Wisconsin.
That is north. By the way, I do want to tell you that we got a call from our listener, Jim. He's always a first call on our show. He says he loves the Up North podcast, really enjoys it. So just want to let you know.
Awesome. So let's talk about, we're going to talk about the Supreme Court election tonight. We're going to talk about the fall of Eric Swalwell in our second segment. We're going to talk about the defeat of Viktor Orban in Hungary, which is giving us all hope for America. And then we're going to, in the last segment, we're going to talk about May Day, which is a very important, that's the next upcoming big thing that all of us progressives, we need the next big thing, like, Kings, and the next big thing is May Day. So without further ado, let's talk about the Supreme Court election last week. Sam, can you put up the first graph? That would be the dancing. Yes, sir. Okay, so
wow, that's a lot of blue.
We have a dancing Hungarian that's we're going to talk about in the soon. But so this is The 2024 presidential election is what you're seeing on the right, and that was Trump won Wisconsin, and that was by not a ton, but he obviously won. And these are the results of the election with the Supreme Court election with Chris Taylor and Maria Lazar, and that is a sea of blue. So Ben, give us your initial thoughts on what you're seeing on this graph and kind of what you've been talking about in your show.
Yeah, it honestly, okay, let's just start from a Wisconsin basis first. I'm pretty sure you guys are both aware of this statistic at this point, but 7 of 8 districts, the way the congressional districts are drawn right now, 7 of 8 districts would go blue based on the way everybody voted. Now, it's not apples to apples, it's an April election, but definitely a cause to get excited about what we saw take place. I have lived in Wisconsin since 2022, and I have only seen Supreme Court bloodbaths since moving out here. I saw Protasiewicz in 23, saw Crawford in 25, and obviously what took place last Tuesday. What sticks out to me is every time it gets bigger. Now, it obviously has shown the capacity to constrict as well, which is perfect reason not to get lazy. But when you mix this with what took place in Georgia on the same night in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, if you superimpose the outcome of that race on America's map, we're almost at 100 Republicans in the House of Representatives because it was a 23-point swing. We got a 20-point blowout in a purple state like Wisconsin, a 23-point swing, still a loss, but a massive swing in one of the deepest red places you can possibly imagine. And this is with the Democrats not even being that popular, and they are able to get these kind of numbers. It's an incredibly exciting sign for anybody that's fed up with it. And I think there's cause for celebration. And I'm not a pleasant man when it comes to these conversations. So it's nice to be this guy right now.
And it's wild
Patty,
for
what do
me.
you think?
I'm sorry, it was wild for me. I was going to say that looking at this map, because of the places where we've gone door knocking and helping out different organizations in Wisconsin, in particular, southern Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin, like Racine, Kenosha, and seeing them go blue when we'd work. I mean, we made some headway with Kamala Harris's campaign, and also, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the middle one. I want all of it. So this map makes me feel greedy.
Well, Patty,
it does.
Patty,
I want it all.
You're, despite being a fib, you have a much more extensive history with this than me. How does it feel seeing a map like this after, let's compare it to like 2014? Well, you know what I mean? Like what it felt like then. I wasn't here. I didn't know what politics was in 2014. What is it? Can you even imagine this?
Well, yes, and here's why: because of Obama, right? So because Obama had won Wisconsin, and because not just with 2014, but also 2015, 2016. When I was on the air overnights at WGN, I remember telling people we would get calls because we reached 38 states in Canada, and people would call and say, I can't bring myself to vote for either of them, right? And so we had told people, and I kind of felt guilty about this later and not making the better argument, but I wasn't a political, I wasn't a Democratic, I wasn't a progressive talk show host. And I was trying to thread that needle of, making everyone feel welcome, not leaning one way or the other, even though people could tell. And I would tell people, just show up for the vote and make sure you're voting for your local electeds, for your school boards, for your representatives, for your congresspeople, and leave the top of the ballot empty if that's what you have to do. And what did we see? We saw that in Michigan and Wisconsin, 2 states that I reach very well. And I'm not taking responsibility for those 18 to 22,000 votes of ballots that were left empty at the top. But that was what happened there. So I can see, this, only because of how aggressively red it has been, and voting for Ron Johnson, don't even get me started.
And gerrymandering.
With Greg Walker. Not Greg Walker. What was his name? Scott Walker. Scott Walker. So Scott. There
was a huge mountain. It's awesome. I'm thrilled for so many people. I joined the fight at the end when it was pretty straightforward. This has got to feel so good for people that know the history.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, give us the next graph because you alluded to it, Ben, but we're going to talk about the congressional districts and how they swung. No, the other one, Sam. There we go. So first and foremost, you alluded to it a little bit, Ben, but this is the actual problem with getting too confident is that studies have shown that Republicans are starting to give up they have given up on Supreme Court races because their party is not the electorate for Supreme Court races. They've shown that by and large, there's only like 800,000 people that turned out to vote out of like a population of 5 million. And they've shown that in spring elections, it highly skews towards the college educated folks who kind of understand the connection between electing judges and, and potentially saving democracy and, getting things done. And so that's why you've seen bloodbaths, seen judge bloodbaths, because the electorate, the MAGA electorate is, for better, for worse and for worse, it's the folks who aren't going to college and, the working class, the populism, the right-wing populism. So that's the reason for us not to get crazy excited, even though this is very exciting. But the most important districts, the swing, so all the districts save one, and Wisconsin 5 is the area. That's Waukesha. That's kind of the wow counties. That's like the white flight suburbs of Milwaukee, except for Ozaukee County, which we're going to talk about next because that actually went blue. But that's the one red one. But the Wisconsin 4 is Milwaukee. Wisconsin 2 is Dane County, Madison. Obviously, those are wildly Democratic. But the ones that we need to watch are Wisconsin 1 and Wisconsin 3. So Wisconsin 3 is Western Wisconsin, which is Derek Van Orden's district. He is one of the most MAGA reprehensible congressmen we have in the country. And that is the swingiest district in Wisconsin. So that district went 21 points for Chris Taylor, and Trump had won it by 7 points only 2 years ago. So that's looking like it's gonna flip.
And don't sleep on 7 though, Kirk. I mean, that's where Outside the Box is stationed. You know what I mean? Like, we have Tony Weed up here, and I'm here to tell you right now.
You're 8.
No, I'm telling you right now, I'm District 7. I'm congressional.
You're not. I ran for Congress in District 7. I know where it is, man. 7 is 7. You're Green Bay, Appleton, Oshkosh, Door County. That's 8.
Okay. In any event, it's much more winnable than I think people are aware. Tony Weed is uniquely unpopular in this area, and I think it's worth highlighting. I understand the Derek Van Orden animosity, and I feel that. I'm with you guys. Yeah. But don't sleep on Northeast Wisconsin. I'm even seeing people panic about how blue it looks right now. Like Patty, not taking credit for it, but it is a coincidence,
Hey, I'll take whatever I can get. Well, when you talk about not getting lazy, not lazy isn't the word for it, but the sense of urgency has to be sustained. I think that's the thing, because after Obama won in 2008, basically, like, people look at presidential elections as the end all and be all. And look, we've talked to folks in Iowa, in Indiana, and other parts of the country where they voted for Trump because they were mad about salaries, about wages being stuck. And you're like, that's your state legislature. People just look at the presidency as like what controls everything. And it's not that. And so people went home, they're like, oh, we're good. And then Walker wins the governorship. And then you have the gerrymandering. You have all of these Republicans winning these seats across the state. And they were able to harness that Republican power. And that's how you have Van Orden controlling so much of what happens in Wisconsin and the Republicans. So just saying.
Okay. We got a little time left, and I wanted to show people this graph as well. So Ozaukee County, it's Washington, Waukesha, and Ozaukee has been the bulwark for the Republican Party over the last probably 20 years. It's white flight. It's the wealthier folks that commute into Milwaukee who don't want to live among the poverty. So, but they went Democratic in this last election. You can see how they've been moving moving towards Democratic majority over the last few elections. So this is a harbinger that it's really dangerous for the Republicans, because if they lose Ozaukee County,
there's no way they're going to win Wisconsin in any statewide election.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ben. We got 30 seconds.
Oh, I was just going to concur. So you go ahead. You lead us out, Patty. But I was just going to say, you beat that's the stronghold.
There we go.
Going, Patty. You got it.
Well, when we come back, we are hanging out with our friends, Ben Cominos, and of course, the owner, the mastermind behind Minocqua Brewing Company, Kirk Bangstad. We are broadcasting the Up North podcast. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. Maybe put it in order for some great progressive brew. My favorite is now it is and always will be the Gulf of Mexico Mexican Lager is one of my favorites. And they have a great tap room in Madison, Wisconsin. We'll continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF. We're so glad you're all here.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just
All text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. In the mid-1800s, many American women were expected to follow what history calls the cult of true womanhood, where men would go off to work and women would stay home, taking care of the house, their children, and husbands. During the Civil War, many women left their homes to join the fight. Thousands of women from the North and South volunteered to join brigades, while over 400 women disguised themselves as men to fight in the war. In the Union, 20,000 white and African American women worked as nurses, traveling from hospital to hospital, offering care to wounded soldiers, even helping to convince the government to create United States Sanitary Commission to create a preventive, hygienic, and sanitary service for the benefit of the Army. During the Civil War, women were faced with new duties, challenging many men's minds to what should be a proper woman's place.
Is credit card or other debt making it difficult to pay your rent or mortgage? Home insecurity is often the unintended consequence of an inability to pay mounting credit card debt, student loans, or medical debt. But by working with a nonprofit credit counselor, you can avoid or reduce the risk of eviction or foreclosure while tackling debt for good. For more information about how nonprofit credit counseling can help, visit nfcc.org. Made possible in part by the nonprofit Wells Fargo Foundation.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
I forgot to tell everybody it was 10 seconds to come back. Now, take it away for the Up North podcast. Kirk Bangstad. First of all, let me thank all of our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters, Minocqua Brewing Company, Are You Really Winning, and Source Solar. Now we're ready, Kirk.
Okay, so I wanted to lead this segment in, but I definitely want to lean on Patty to give us her thoughts. But when I heard about Congressman Eric Swalwell's multiple allegations of sexual assault, probably, like everybody did, maybe Friday. And I have to say, I've become friends and a dedicated listener to Amanda Nelson from Amanda's Mild Takes. And she's been on our show a while, and she's out of Virginia, and she's super smart, and she's a historian. And she was just rabidly angry at Eric Swalwell and wanted to get him out. And I initially, and by the way, everybody probably knows this on the podcast. So Eric Swalwell's congressman from California, he was running for governor, and he is no longer running for governor, nor is he a congressman. He resigned because of all of these sexual assault allegations that were leveled at him over the weekend. So when I started hearing the vitriol coming from Amanda, I was surprised because Eric Swalwell was a hero of mine. He was one of the few guys that I thought was able to cut through the noise and tell us what was really happening in Congress and all about all the lies of the Trump regime. And so initially, like a lot of progressives, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, "What's going on? Is this a hit job? Are they trying to get him out of the governor's race?" Because he's leading, and so I didn't want to believe it. But I also am a white male who, and I'm not, and so it's like when I heard Amanda say, listen to the women, and there's 4 allegations, and I dug in deeper, and I did the research, and it looked pretty damning. And apparently, and within 3 days, the Democratic Party and the progressives put so much pressure on him that he dropped out of the race and then he resigned from Congress, which it's pretty amazing. And it seems like the right thing to do. Patti, what was going on, through your mind throughout the week?
So I started hearing rumblings about it on social media. Here was my first instinct was to wait. Right. This was not for me to jump in on one way or the other. I waited until it grew. What it reminded me of was how much I really like John Edwards. Right. And I think it's also, and John Edwards was different. It wasn't even like that he was he had sexually assaulted staffers. He had an affair and cheated on his wife, who had brain cancer at the time, I believe, or breast cancer. And that was disappointing. This is appalling. Right. I think there's a little bit difference in that. But it's also like these men in power, especially men that I have to say men, because we're in this position where, like, can women win races? Right. Because that's a conversation we're also having. Can a woman of color win? Can a woman win? And then so you're like, okay, well, here's somebody who's fighting for all of the issues that we believe in, who is taking Trump on head on. He's doing well in this at least in polling. We did know a couple weeks ago, and here was where I was, and this is part of the reason I also waited, was I knew that because they have a jungle a jungle primary, right? So it's the top two, and we knew that the two top polling numbers were for the Republicans, and we're like, oh, are we vulnerable? So I wondered, are they the same thing? Like, I want to wait, right? And then to your point, then there was like this surreal online battle between content creators who were like, they were saying, oh, I'm not buying it. This is all ginned up. This is, the Democrats. It's Katie Porter's camp. It's Steyer's camp. It got crazy online. And I think Amanda's mild takes was like, listen to the women. There was also another content creator who had helped line up an attorney so that the women who were coming forward would have a shield so that they could feel comfortable and safe to go public with their allegations, because I do believe these allegations started years ago, but it was kind of these sort of background noise rumblings that hadn't surfaced. And then you have Kevin McCarthy, who's on TV saying, oh, we all knew about it. I don't think it's that, because if it is that, and if it's much bigger and they all knew about it, then I got a problem with a whole lot of people on both sides of the aisle, right? So I think that, when for me, you know what it was when he came out with his statement. I was like, oh, he did something horrible, because his statement was, that I'm going to fight this. I didn't do anything wrong. And he actually said to his wife that I need to apologize to my wife. And I'm like, for what? I mean, right there's already something like, then over the weekend, as the momentum started to grow, what's hard for women, not just women, by the way, I've gotten messages from people who've been in workplaces where they have been harassed and assaulted, is that the question, why didn't they come forward sooner? Why now thing? Even Swalwell said, when Kavanaugh was in the hearings, he said, if it's one woman, maybe it's a rumor. But when you have multiple accusers coming forward, and Kavanaugh's went back decades, right? And so if he was yelling at Kavanaugh, dude, right back at you. And for people who are like, well, we don't know, there's no evidence. Here's the thing. This is a political campaign. We are talking about one of the most important races in the country that we absolutely need to make sure we do everything we can and we have the right people. And I don't know if it's Katie Porter, but this was heartbreaking. It's disgusting. And it's so prevalent at all layers of power, whether it's just at a fast food restaurant or in Congress. And I'm pissed, and you can tell. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. No, I mean, you covered it all so well there, Patti. But I mean, all I have to add to it is I kind of followed the same path you guys did. I didn't mention it until today for similar reasons that you mentioned. All 5 candidates were at about the same percentage, and clearly the Democrats wanted at least one person to drop, and I was suspicious. As the details made themselves apparent, though, it was pretty clear, and similar to how you laid it out there, Patti, that was actually the angle that I took with it. Kevin McCarthy talking about it being a well-known secret. And honestly, that's not the only person I heard. And I wish I had more lists. And it's seeming like this is more like the Lindsey Graham sexual orientation conversation for Eric Swalwell. Like, it seems like it's one of the worst kept secrets, according to a lot of the way people are talking right now. And to me, this felt too business transactional. My episode of Outside the Box today is, it's almost a decade since Me Too. What have we learned? Because it seems pretty apparent to me The Tony Gonzalez out of Texas scenario, that wasn't up for debate. It was known that the woman he was having an affair with took her own life because of what he was doing to her sexually. And he refused to step down until there was a tit-for-tat trade so that there could be certain balances still maintained in office. And were it not for this, nobody would have been dropping out. So the actual principle, the only reason we care about the Swalwell accusations is because it is politically relevant. And if he were just some random guy in Congress, mark my words, someone else is doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And we just don't care because they're just in a safe red district, not trying to reach too far to the sun. Just mind your business and you'll get away with it. But don't run for governor because we know what you're doing. And this feels like that.
And that's what I think they would argue about Kavanaugh, right? Like, why did anyone say anything sooner? And it does rise to that in that, look, I was in a toxic work environment where I was sexually harassed aggressively and persistently for years. And not just me, other women were. And I mean, it was kind of like this, I guess, for me, intellectually, it was partly, I guess this is the price of being in the job I've always dreamt of, right? I mean, that's what a lot of people like to work at that place. You're like, and so to be in Capitol Hill and, well, if I say anything, my career is over in DC. That's the... Go ahead.
You're like what you're describing. I worked with a woman who at the time was probably in her late 50s, far right talk show host. And I was a part-time producer. So I bit my tongue. I controlled her boards and I did what I needed to do. She looks at me after the show and she says, I can tell I disagree with you, but I was thrilled to work with you because I can tell you're not intimidated by working with women.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine in media, in politics, the power, the control, how much we want this microphone and how a few people have control of it. I can only empathize, but I promise you, I understand it.
All right. So I wanted to make 2 points before about now 30 seconds. The first point is the Republicans are not the Democrats. They are not kicking out their people that are harassing. We are. So that's one big point. And the other big point is DC seems like a terrible place for women who want to work up the ranks. And it seems just like in both parties, like, women can't say anything because they want to keep on rising the ladder. Take us away, Patty.
Thank you so much, Kirk and Ben. Ben Cominos, the host of Outside the Box on WHBY. Go to WHBY.com, or you can download their nifty little app. He's also broadcasting on YouTube, so follow his show on YouTube as well. Kirk Bangstad, available on all social media platforms. In particular, we would love for you to join us on Substack, where we all write columns there and feature other wonderful writers. And join our marketplace. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com to learn about all the great products, all the great brews and swag, all the fun stuff. More after this on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered showers and storms continue tonight, a low of 59 degrees, southwest winds at 10 to 20. Thursday, scattered showers and storms are likely with a high temperature of 69 degrees and northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Friday, partly sunny with a high of 74. Another round of thunderstorms Saturday, high of 65. Sunny and cooler Sunday, high temperature of 52. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 73.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
If you're an experienced homeowner who's outlived your assets or your spouse recently passed away, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local reverse mortgage lender. Alice, 90, widow, income $24,000 a year, living in a $500,000 home with no mortgage. Alice's husband recently passed away and she was terrified about losing her home, so her daughter called for information about a reverse mortgage. We helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage which allowed her to access $300,000 tax-free dollars so she could afford in-home health care. Let's review. Alice's husband recently passed away. She outlived her assets and thought she had to sell her home. Our reverse mortgage expert, Jose Rodriguez, helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage so she could afford in-home health care and peacefully age in place. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
After serving in the military, life can seem like an endless loop. But the cycle can be broken. You're not alone. Visit MakeTheConnection.net to learn more.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home and featuring the Up North podcast brought to you by Minocqua Brewing Company. Kirk Bangstad, our fearless leader, joins us right now. Oh, I forgot to turn the microphone on. That's why you didn't hear me. Kirk Bangstad, Ben Cominos. Take it away, Kirk.
Okay, so I wanted this. I mean, there's been huge things happening in the last week. So usually we talk about one big subject and kind of dive deep, but not this week. So in this segment, you know, we have all been given a huge amount of hope in America because we saw Viktor Orban's authoritarian regime go down, I believe, on Sunday when you were writing your essay, Patty. We were talking about that.
I was so mad. I was like, I gotta think with this.
Yeah, how do I write about now? What do I write about now? I can't start this over.
At least we didn't start another war.
But, it was a huge, the implications for a regime, and Ben's going to get into more of the history, but just my initial thoughts, the implications for a regime where the dictator had gotten a rubber stamped kind of court, and he got a rubber stamp legislature. He had orchestrated their country and gerrymandered it in their own way of gerrymandering to make everybody hopeless. That there's no way that anybody but him would ever get elected again, and it wasn't considered a democracy. Hungary wasn't a democracy, and so the fact that they had an election and 80% of the population came out and the guy won, the other guy won by not a whole lot, but 50, less than 60% of the vote, I believe, meant that even with all the obstacles and all the shadiness that probably happened at the ballot box because they kind of baked in shadiness, they still were able to overcome. And that to me is such a helpful, it gives me hope because we know there's going to be shadiness in our own elections in 2026. So Ben, let's back up and talk to us for the folks that kind of aren't really knowledgeable about Hungary, which is most of us. Back us up and tell us about who won and who is this guy.
The winner right now is Magyar, and based on your description there, Kirk, and I think you did a very appropriate job of describing what it was in. I guess I wish I would have made this parallel when I was writing the article about it, but it really does represent, it's the same time period of when the legislature in Wisconsin flipped and Governor Scott Walker took over, and that helpless gerrymandered feeling where it felt like liberals were never going to have a say in things again, and you very much feel the tide shifting that way as well. And to kind of put it in perspective for people that might not follow along with Hungary, this was that to the nth degree. This was a guy that had taken advantage of the rules, but that was slowly losing power. Very similar to here. What do we have below us? We have Hispanics, and that is what is vilified by the MAGA movement. Hungary has Africans and Muslims below them. So who do we blame? We blame this influx. It's not a matter of the policies. It's not a matter of the people in charge. It's these immigrants are sneaking in and they're taking all of your services. And unfortunately, it worked. It worked for a while. And it's clear that there is a conservative bent to the people of Hungary because even this replacement is still a right-winger, still somebody that I think we wouldn't want to see come to power in America, probably still less than what Trump is, but not ideal from a number of different perspectives. And I have a feeling it's still going to be very austerity-based. But the signs were so clear in the coming weeks that is why J.D. Vance, in the middle of a war and affordability crisis and all these other different problems that we have in America right now, saw fit to leave the country. Imagine Kamala Harris leaving when all the immigrants were influxing in, what the reaction would be. And yet J.D. Vance goes over there to campaign for a guy that most people in America, especially that voted for Trump, probably have never heard of. It as you highlighted, it's a cause for excitement, and this individual, I think, is going to leave a lot to be desired, but I think it shows a rejection of what MAGA is, and I think there's going to be a number of leaders following suit in the same vein.
That's something I've been thinking about, you guys, because, if there were, a Republican who was brave enough to go, this isn't who we are, right? I don't know how much longer, people who say they were never Trumpers, or I don't even know who that would be right now. I mean, I know that a few Republicans have tried to dip their toe in the waters of pushing back on whether it's Iran or what the president has done. I mean, the whole Pope mess is absolutely bonkers. We haven't even talked about these AI images, but I have thought about that, Ben, about how there is an example for conservatives who want to maintain that energy that Trump has been able to harness when it comes to anti-immigrants, when it comes to anti-woman. By the way, I don't know if you saw this poll that shows that Gen Z men are more likely to think a woman should obey her husband than boomers. I don't know what the freaking frack is happening, but
Turning point.
Yeah, I mean, Turning Point.
That's Turning Point.
Which is also isn't that also associated with Hungary and Orban and funding, and he was taking,
funding it, right?
Yeah, he was taking taxpayer money to put into Turning Point. I mean, it's bonkers. But at any rate, there is a path if some brave Republican, and I think we need to make sure Democrats do everything we can right now to do the best we might be able to do in November. What do you think, Kirk?
Okay, so you alluded to it. It might be Turning Point as well. But we know that Viktor Orban funded CPAC.
Oh, it was CPAC.
CPAC. Okay, that's right.
Yes.
And CPAC is like MAGA. It's like they just MAGA personified. It's like this is where all the red-blooded MAGA folk go, and they say the most ludicrous things. And so, for years, Hungary was shoveling money to CPAC. And by the way, CPAC this year. We talked about this in one of our office hours, Patty. There was this woman who had to take out her nose ring. She was a journalist for a left-wing magazine, and she conservative herself up and went to CPAC. And for the first time, she always goes just to get crazy quotes. So just say, this is how crazy they are. She went this time, and everybody still was like, we're still MAGA, but they had a look of regret on their face. But going back, if Hungary, Viktor Orban was backed 100% by Vladimir Putin in Russia. And so there is no doubt, and they've made the parallels in lots of different articles that I've read over the last couple of days, that Putin was shoveling money through Hungary to feed CPAC to just plant absolute propaganda with the very manipulable MAGA movement. And so that's why we're seeing people saying, I'd like strongmen. I'd rather see Putin than Biden. There's so much pro-Russia stuff happening in MAGA, and it's propaganda. And now it's going to probably blow wide open how much of this was flowing from Russia, potentially through Hungary or other venues, into the alt-right. It's very disturbing.
Well, the appealing part of authoritarians to people like MAGA, and to be perfectly frank, there's an element of that on the progressive left, because you could very easily talk me into nuking the filibuster in the name of getting Medicare for all. That would not be a hard pitch for me, because the problem is things move too slow in a democracy for somebody that is struggling right now. They see a Viktor Orban who can say, this is what's going to happen, and then that's what happened. But when you would elect a strong man, what this is something evil or vile or awful, and not something that will benefit them, but it'll hit the little dopamine sensors that you're kicking the brown people out. So although while I might be struggling, this at least will satiate whatever desire that is here. That's why you see that sentiment bubble up, and I'm not surprised they see it here either. So I'm not saying it's better than Biden, but I'm saying I understand why they talk that way, and it's a matter of pushing back against that.
It's interesting you say that because, the strong man, element to this, and also the people who are struggling don't have time to wait for democracy to work its way through to do the right thing, right? And Mexico is a good example of universal health care, I believe, by 2028. I mean, we have a leader who is putting a lot of elements into place that is helping people. So I think that there are examples.
1/17 the GDP, Patty. They have 1/17 the GDP
Fair.
of America.
That's fair.
And they got Medicare for all.
She's
feel like
cleaning
we should
house.
maybe figure it out.
All I'm saying is she's cleaning house.
It's funny. My lawyer Fred was still able to buy himself out of a ticket in Mexico. He just told me about. But anyway,
they got corruption down there. They still got corruption down there, but they also have healthcare. So we got corruption here.
I have a friend who lives there. She loves buying her beers for $1.50.
I hear that. So the what was I? So what I loved, we talked a little bit already about this, Ben, and this is the difference. So populism we need big things to happen. We need big things to happen, in order to get the working class back on the right path. Right-wing populism is based in bigotry and racism, and that's how they elect a strong man. Left-wing populism is based on education, healthcare for all, and jobs. And you
mentioned that. Sorry.
But as long as we can move quickly towards that with strong leaders, that's how we win for the next 2 decades.
I say it on my show all the time. In some ways, Donald Trump is a centrist liberal's nightmare because everyone in America is seeing exactly how fast you can remake America in your image. And that image doesn't have to be a giant pile of orange crap. So like somebody with a good idea can come into America and do the exact same thing that he did, but in reverse. And I think people are expecting that. I'll be speaking to all of the gubernatorial candidates next Saturday. I'm going to have their ear for 20 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them some stuff. Don't you worry. We'll get
Go
into
to Kirk.
that.
Get it.
Okay, I want to play this video, and then Patty, you lead us out because this is of a guy, a Hungarian, just dancing like a champion after the election. You gotta see this.
Am I going to get in trouble for the music? Go ahead. Oh, no, I don't think I will. I think we're okay on this one. Oh, my gosh. For folks who can't watch this, he's doing some quite stellar moves. He looks a little bit double jointed, like his knee went backwards there for a second. A lot of excitement. This is the celebration of overthrowing Orban in the election. So there you go. We are broadcasting.
Like how Greek stands. Go on.
Is that Greek? Are you? Is that how you dance?
Greek. It looked Greek. Yeah. There was some
Whoopa!
looked Greek. Here we go.
They were very joyous. So hopefully, I think that it bodes well for a lot of us. But you're right. I've seen a lot of pro strongman comments on our Facebook page. We are broadcasting the Up North podcast courtesy of Minocqua Brewing Company and our fearless leader, Kirk Bangstad. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and Substack, where a lot of our friends are watching right now. Please be a paid subscriber to Minocqua Brewing Company Substack so you can support the work that we do. Ben Cominos, the host of Outside the Box on WHBY. Go to WHBY.com or support his YouTube channel, Ben Cominos, right there on YouTube. Maybe his little nifty app they've got for WHBY as well. We need one of those. More after this on WCPT, KKNW, and 1150 KTNF.
Tom Hartman.
Autocrats generally, particularly those autocrats who have narcissistic personality disorder and are sociopaths, as is, in my opinion, Trump, typically do not tolerate high-profile people around them. They want to be the star of the show, and that's certainly been the history of Donald Trump. The only people that he will tolerate around him are people who, when he says, kiss my ass, they fall to their knees.
The Tom Hartman Radio Program, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
WCPT Replay. Speaking with Wendell Young, the vice chairman of the Chicago Wolves, and he is the newest inductee in the 2026 AHL Hall of Fame class.
There's one goalie in particular that I think you had a front row seat for history, and that's Manon Rheaume when she became the first female NHL player in that preseason game.
I walk into the rink, and Phil and Tony Esposito, and they're kind of talking. They're like, we got to put Manon in. Everyone's here. The rink is packed. All the media's here. But what happens if she plays bad? And I go, this is your worry? They go, you're going to play the first 2 periods, Wendell. She's going to play the third. And I go, you're going to let her sit around for 3 or 4 hours, worrying, being stretched, warm up, and then tight, and then have to go in and waiting for that. I go, start her. If things don't go well for her, I go 10 minutes in. I said, I'll go in and just say that was our plan. We're just splitting the periods. Then I go, that's your out. So she goes in and plays unbelievable. I go in and the rink starts chanting, put the girl back in.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees. Millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
And we bring you back our Minocqua Brewing Company's podcast, Up North podcast. Kirk Bangstad, our fearless leader, the mastermind behind Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and subscribe to the Substack. Please be a paid subscriber and support the work that we do. That includes work from Ben Cominos, the host of Outside the Box. Take it away, Kirk.
Okay, so in this last segment, I wanted to remind everybody, we first talked about these huge swing left that we took in last week's Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. We then talked about how Democrats did the right thing, as painful as it was, but they did it swiftly and they did it decidedly as they put pressure on Congressman Eric Swalwell to bow out of the California governor's race and to resign as a congressman. We also know that the Republican Party has never done that to any of their similar abusing politicians. In the last segment, we talked about another wonderful harbinger. I say the word harbinger because I love the word of democracy coming back to America because Viktor Orban lost in Hungary. Now, if democracy doesn't come back after our 2026 elections in November, if they somehow are stolen, we still have hope because we saw what happened in Hungary. But there are other ways for regime change other than elections, and those are called striking and boycotting, nonviolent ways for regime change. And so what has been happening ever since Trump was elected we've had 3 No Kings marches. We had what was the first one called Hands Off, I believe. I can't remember, but we've had like 5 protests now, mostly every 3 months. They keep on getting bigger. I think the last one is up to 7 million potentially a couple weeks ago. And these are what you call structure tests for doing more things that get to regime change. So protesting and getting millions out in the streets are just tests to see how well you can organize and how many people you can get to go along in one direction. So after all of these strikes, the groups, 50-51, Indivisible is kind of the biggest one. Obviously, the Democratic Party, but there's another group called Mayday Strong that is leading the next movement, and that is on May 1st. And this is an actual test to see if a nationwide general strike can actually work. And what a general strike does is if nobody goes to work, then the economy is brought to its knees, and that scares the bejesus, which is not a swear word, I think, for your radio show, out of our current oligarchy. And so the Mayday Strong movement, let me read what I just pulled up. On May 1st, 2026, workers, students, and families rally, march, and take action across the country to demand a nation that puts workers over billionaires, with many refusing business as usual through no school, no work, no shopping. Talk to us. Sam, put the graphic up and show us where it's happening in Wisconsin. And whoever wants to talk about what do you think, Patty, what do you think? What do you think about it?
I've thought about this. Like, what would I do? I don't know if I would like. Do we just go air silent? I have to go to work. It's funny. I actually saw a local elected who does not support no school on May Day. And I was struck by that because, and I get it's I don't think there's a reason to, as a Democrat, let the organizations, the unions take the lead on this is my instinct, right? Because they understand best, how to make sure that people feel supported in the decisions that they make on May Day to either not go to work, not go to school. I mean, parents do have to worry about their kids and if they aren't being a part of this, if they can't, if they're nurses, if they're working for the, trains, public transportation. I mean, there's different levels to this. But I think that it was very successful in Minnesota. Sadly, the day after they did it in Minnesota, we had one of the most catastrophic murders right in front of us with Alex Preddy being killed by ICE agents. And I think that it's something that we need to carry with us as to what our federal government is capable of, and what's transpired over the last few weeks with the completely unhinged rantings of this man saying that we're going to annihilate a civilization, right? And it has brought us to war. Have you seen what's even going on in Ireland? They are blocking the roads to the refineries because the price of gas has made it impossible for farmers, for truckers, for the people to go to work, and that's going to spread, I think. And so I think that we need to take a lead from the Irish, not for nothing, but they seem to know what they're doing when it comes to organizing and shutting things down.
Always do. And also you can't discount oh shoot, what was the name of the city? It's a Canadian sounding city and it's in California. Oh, Ontario, California. They set the Kimberly-Clark warehouse on
that's
fire.
Some wild stuff. Yeah.
The guy recorded himself. There's a lot of that sentiment, and a general strike is the much more legal way that you can do it without worrying about any type of major ramifications on your life. I quite literally came here to this podcast from an event with the Labor Party. No affiliation with Europe. It's their own version. They might be partnering with the Working Families Party, speaking about a general strike. And if you heard any of them tell you they pumped me full of drinks before this podcast, they'd be lying to you.
Hey, you're not running the board. You're just talking to us. Exactly. I'm the only one that can't be drinking.
Yeah, that's how you mix up Tom Tiffany's district with Tony Weed's district in the first segment. But in any event, but I say all that to say it's on a lot of people's minds, and quite frankly, it's not even coming necessarily from the Democratic Party. It's coming from a third party, at least in Northeast Wisconsin. You want to hear this kicker? The Labor Party, the union-based party, started in Wisconsin. This group started in Door freaking County in Wisconsin. Picture of all the places for it to start, and they're getting people ramped up now to be prepared. But this is for May Day, May 1st, obviously, but almost as like a dry run there. So this is on people's minds right now for sure, whether it be for election purposes or just standard of living purposes.
Yeah. So Patti, to your note, obviously when you don't show up to school, you don't show up to work, you don't buy, not buying anything is a little different. But if businesses like ours want to participate, I don't make any money that day, and my employees don't make any money that day. So there is hardship to striking, and it's especially hard for people who are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, that there can never be a general strike that lasts more than one day unless you have a huge organized what's it called, mutual aid program that goes along with that. So that's why unions have strike funds. So they have millions of dollars of strike funds so that if people do strike in order to try to get their goal, their families don't suffer. So one day is kind of a ceremonial thing, but it's what you call and what people in the labor movement call a structure test. So one day is not going to change anything. But if you get so many people not showing up to their job, then you have business leaders who probably vote Republican saying, oh my God, if they did this for a week, I would suffer, and I don't want to suffer. And so we have to change because my people aren't coming. So this one day is not going to do a whole lot for anybody. But if lots of people show up, then the unions will raise strike funds for not only their own unions, but, we will organize, and nurses hopefully can provide potential. If it's going to be a week, they can provide health care for free. Doctors can pitch in. There's got to be a huge amount of organization so people don't suffer. But striking has proven, it is the most powerful and the most hard to achieve, but it's the most powerful tool to to topple a regime that's taken away all of your rights, including your ability to vote. Patty?
Yeah, I think that that's what people need to know is more about, like, this is kind of like the by the way, I am paying I'm coming out even. I'm not getting a refund on my taxes, but this is a lot like not paying your federal taxes. People need to know what the supports are, what the resources are, what the legal ramifications are, how to stay protected, and that's a lot of what I appreciate. I talked to Bob Reiter from the CFL here at Chicago, and knowing that they are putting in place mutual aid, making sure that people know where they can turn to if they are going to fall short. If that income that they lose that day means that they miss a payment on something or can't afford groceries, how do they support each other? And that's what we need more of in general, because things are going to get more expensive, folks. So now, whether it's because you're going to participate in May Day or you need to know where you can get fresh produce, food for your family, look in your mutual aid, your neighborhood pantries. We had someone on from our neighborhood garden for the hungry in the last hour, because I think everyone needs to gear up for these situations.
I'll just concur with what you have to say there, because I think it's spot on, and I think it's very good in principle, and it's just a matter of enacting it in practice, which I think is always the most difficult part. So getting prepared early and often is probably the best strategy.
So you've got 19 events, is that right, across 14 cities, right, from as far north as Hayward down to Rice Lake, River Falls, Eau Claire, Baraboo, Sauk City, Madison, Appleton, Rhinelander, Beaver Dam. We've got 2 events in Janesville, it looks like, Waukesha, Milwaukee, Manitowoc. So that's so Appleton. I imagine Appleton's going to be a big turnout, by the way. I think a lot of these places.
It's been coming through in a lot of ways that I think people are unaware for this state, and I think it's awesome to see. Both No Kings protest people showed up, and I have a feeling you'll see something similar here. And the groups that I'm connecting with out here, it's all underground stuff, and it's absolutely awesome.
Someone just made a really good point, by the way, before we go. Other countries that strike all the time have national health, so at least they don't have to worry about that part, right? And that's something that keeps us trapped in our jobs.
True.
All right.
It's a nationwide union too. When one strikes, they all strike. It's awesome.
That's
I
right.
wish we had that.
I know. I'm looking at Scotland and Ireland. Thank you guys so much. Kirk Bangstad, the owner, the founder of Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. Visit his tap room in Madison when you swing up that way. Maybe you want to swing all the way up to Appleton, and you don't have to go all the way up there to listen to WHBY for Outside the Box with Ben Cominos. You can also watch him on YouTube and download the app on go to WHBY.com. Thank you to KTNF.
I don't normally look this good, though. You won't see me looking this good.
You look great. Stop.
Thanks,
thank you to our new producer, Sam. Pleasure to meet you. This was a wonderful show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Love you, Lady B. Good night, everybody.
If you've got spring fever, Lowe's has the cure.